Hello, my dear friends, tonight. As you slowly settle into a quiet and comfortable space, allow your breathing to soften gently, naturally, like a river flowing at its own peaceful pace. Let the outside world fade into stillness, and let your mind drift toward a calmer place. Because tonight we are traveling not into the loud chapters of history, but into the soft ones, into the quiet corners where life moved slowly, kindly, and without rush. We are going to ancient Egypt, but not the Egypt of battles or shouts or heavy footsteps echoing through stone temples. No, tonight we are entering a different Egypt, the warm, simple, peaceful Egypt lived by ordinary people. The Egypt where families woke with the sun, worked with steady hands, and rested under the gentle silence of the desert night. So take a long breath in and let it go. Imagine warm air wrapping around you like soft linen. Imagine a faint scent of river reeds and baked earth. Imagine an oil lamp flickering in a quiet mud brick home. This is Egypt's quiet work and home. And tonight we will walk through fields, wander through homes, sit beside cooking fires, and listen to the slow, soothing rhythm of a life shaped by the Nile. Let everything soften around you and let us begin. Imagine now that you are standing at the edge of the Nile before dawn. The sky is still resting, brushed with deep blue and soft gray. The river lies still and smooth, reflecting the first hints of morning light. The air is cool and gentle, carrying the fresh smell of damp reeds and clay pots left outside to dry. Nothing moves quickly here. Nothing stirs with urgency. The entire valley seems to breathe slowly. You step forward, your feet pressing lightly into cool sand. A soft breeze moves across the river, rustling the tall papyrus plants. Far in the distance, you hear the faint calls of early birds beginning their day. And as you stand in this quiet moment, watching the sky lighten little by little, you feel as though time itself has slowed down, resting for a moment, waiting for sunrise. Then, you notice a figure approaching, a farmer walking toward the river. His steps are calm and steady. His linen robe hangs loosely, brushing lightly against his legs with each movement. He carries a small clay jar, holding it with both hands as if it were an everyday companion. There is no hurry in him, no tension. His day will unfold at the pace of the sun, and he accepts that rhythm the way he accepts breath. He kneels by the water and dips the jar into the cool river. The surface ripples gently, sending small waves outward in delicate circles. He cups his hands and splashes water on his face, the droplets glistening in the soft glow of dawn. Then he takes another slow breath, lifting his eyes to the horizon, watching as the first golden edge of sunlight begins to rise. Across the river, palm trees stretch upward, their silhouettes slowly brightening. Birds flutter through branches, greeting the sun with soft calls. And gradually, gently, the village behind you begins to wake. Mud brick homes warm under the early light. Reed roofs glow softly. Courtyard walls cast long shadows across the dusty ground. Women begin grinding grain with smooth stones, the slow rhythm echoing through the quiet morning like a heartbeat. Children yawn and stretch under woven blankets. Goats bleat lazily as they rise from their resting spots. The day begins not with noise, but with calm motion. A world waking in harmony with the sun. As the farmer walks back toward the village carrying his jar of fresh water, you follow him at an easy pace. The sand is warm beneath your feet now. The smell of baking bread drifts from an open courtyard. A woman kneels beside a simple clay oven, turning small, flat loaves with gentle hands. The bread crackles softly as the heat touches its surface. Nearby, a small boy sweeps the ground with a bundle of palm fibers tied into a broom. He works slowly, humming a quiet tune. A dog sleeps in the corner, occasionally flicking its tail at a fly. In the distance, the river glimmers in widening sunlight. Inside one home, a mother helps her daughter braid her hair for the day. The girl sits still, her legs folded under her, while the mother's fingers move patiently, not rushing, not pulling, simply weaving. The girl's hair falls into neat, smooth sections as the morning light falls across the room, turning dust into gold. Another home smells faintly of linen. A woman weaves threads on a wooden loom, her hands moving with practiced serenity. Each motion is rhythmic and soft, producing a gentle tapping sound. Linen was as common here as the river itself, and women spent hours weaving it, talking quietly with their family or simply working in peaceful silence. Now imagine stepping into another courtyard where a father and son prepare their tools. The father carefully sharpens a wooden plow blade, while the boy gathers ropes made of tightly twisted papyrus fibers. Their movements are unhurried, their faces calm. Work is not something to rush through. It is part of the natural rhythm of their life. The sun rises higher, warming the walls, brightening the sky, filling the village with a steady glow. People step outside their homes, greeting neighbors with simple nods and quiet smiles. There is no chaos, no noise, no rushing footsteps. In ancient Egypt, mornings were slow, predictable, and gentle, a perfect balance between stillness and beginning. As the air warms, families begin walking toward fields near the river. The soil there is rich and dark, fed by the annual flood that leaves behind layers of fertile earth. Men lead cattle to pull plows. Women carry baskets of seeds. Children follow with bundles of fresh reeds to mark boundaries. The fields are peaceful under the brightening sky. The sound of plows moving through soil is steady and grounding. Water channels glimmer softly as workers divert the river flow into smaller irrigation lines. The Nile is their partner, patient, dependable, life-giving, and the people work with it rather than against it. You stand among them, listening to the soft blend of voices, the gentle splash of water, the low grunts of cattle, and the whisper of wind moving across growing crops. Nothing is loud. Everything is natural. This is a world built on patience. And as the morning spreads across the land, the sun becomes warmer, the air thicker with the scent of earth and crops. Workers pause to drink water from cool clay jars. They rest in the shade of palm trees. They share small pieces of bread dipped in oil or honey. Even work carries a softness here, a rhythm guided by nature rather than force. In the distance, you hear laughter from a group of children playing near the river. They chase each other barefoot, their feet kicking up little clouds of dust. One child splashes water at another, and the quiet giggles float through the warm air like drifting reeds. There is no rush to send them indoors, no pressure to hurry them along. Childhood, like everything else here, moves gently. As you watch this slow, peaceful scene unfold, the world around you feels softer, quieter, more comfortable. The steady rhythm of daily life blends with the flow of the Nile, and time seems to stretch out like warm sand under your feet. The village breathes. The river breathes. and you breathe with them, slowly, calmly. As the morning deepens into midday, as we return to the soft, quiet world of ancient Egypt, take a slow breath in and let the noise of your day fade away. Tonight we drift again into a time where life moved gently, where mornings began with soft sunlight, and people lived in a rhythm shaped by nature, family, and the slow flow of the Nile. Let your body relax as we step back into this peaceful world. Imagine the soft glow of dawn touching the mud brick homes of a small Egyptian village. The light creeps gently across the walls, warming them with a golden calmness that feels almost like a warm blanket. Inside one of the homes, a family wakes slowly. There are no alarms, no sudden noises, just the quiet sound of a woman grinding grain, her hands moving in a steady, familiar rhythm passed down for generations. Children stretch under woven blankets, their eyes heavy with sleep. They listen to the soft morning sounds, birds singing outside, footsteps in the courtyard, and the gentle hum of a village waking up. Their home is simple, made of earth and straw, but there is comfort in its simplicity. A small breakfast is prepared, bread dipped in honey, maybe a few dates, a sip of cool water from a clay jar still damp with freshness. Everything is done slowly, with patience, with an acceptance that life flows at its own pace. As the family steps outside, the village is bathed in soft morning light. Narrow paths run between houses, the air still cool, the ground firm beneath their feet. You walk with them, your steps quiet as dust rises gently with each move. There is no rush here, only the calm unfolding of another day. A potter sits by his wheel, his hands shaping clay with slow circular motions. A weaver pulls thread through her loom, the wood clicking softly with each pass. These sounds will be so small, so gentle, blend into the village's morning music. Nothing is loud. Nothing is urgent. Everything carries a warmth that feels safe and peaceful. As the sun climbs higher, we take a slow walk toward the Nile. Its water glistens under the morning sky, a long ribbon of blue and green that moves with the lightest whisper. People gather at the banks to fill jars, to wash, or simply to breathe deeply and enjoy the coolness drifting off the river. A fisherman pushes his small boat into the water. His movements are slow and practiced. The wooden oar slips in with a soft splash, creating ripples that spread gracefully before fading into the distance. The Nile is more than water. It is breath. It is rhythm. It is the gentle heartbeat of this entire world. Work across ancient Egypt begins the same way, not suddenly, but gradually. Farmers step into fields with measured movements. Scribes sit in shaded rooms, their reed pens gliding quietly over papyrus. Even builders, who perform the heaviest tasks, work in a unified rhythm, their tools rising and falling in a steady beat that feels almost like a quiet chant against the hot air. Nothing is rushed. Everything feels steady, predictable, calming. As the day warms, homes remain cool inside. Foods cook slowly, the soft smell of lentils or bread drifting through open doorways. Children play in shaded corners, their laughter quiet and gentle, never breaking the peaceful rhythm of the place. When evening comes, the sun softens again, casting long shadows across the village. Families gather inside their homes, sharing simple dinners, stews, bread, onions, maybe a few vegetables. They sit close, talking softly about the day, their voices blending into the warm glow of clay lamps. Outside, the sky becomes a deep orange, then purple, and finally a velvety black sprinkled with stars. Night in ancient Egypt was beautifully calm. No engines, no electricity, No buzzing lights, only nature, only voices, only silence. People offer small prayers to household gods, whispering gratitude and gentle wishes into the quiet air. A piece of bread, a drop of oil, a soft hope for health or protection. Not loud, not dramatic. Just simple faith, held with tenderness. As darkness deepens, the entire village feels wrapped in a blanket of stillness. Homes faintly glow from within. Children fall asleep quickly, their breaths slow and steady. Adults talk a little longer, their voices low, their bodies tired but peaceful. If you step outside again, the village is nearly silent. A dog barks in the far distance. An owl glides overhead without a sound. The air is cool, sweet, and still. Walk slowly to the Nile once more. It glimmers. Under the moon, its surface smooth like silver glass. The water moves lazily, almost sleepy, reflecting the stars above. If you stand on its bank long enough, you can almost feel the ancient world breathing around you. A deep, slow, peaceful breath. This is the quiet heart of Egypt, not its temples, not its pharaohs, but the simple rhythm of everyday life. Work done steadily, families held closely, nights spent in silence and safety. As we end this part of our journey, let that calm ancient world settle gently over your thoughts. Picture the lamps going out, one by one. Picture the moon rising higher, and the breeze moving softly through the palm trees. Picture families resting in their cool homes, their minds quiet, their bodies relaxing after a long day. Let this peaceful rhythm fill you too. Let your breathing slow. Let your shoulders fall softly. Let sleep drift toward you, like the gentle current of the Nile moving under moonlight. As the night settles softly around us, let's drift once more into the gentle world of ancient Egypt. A world shaped by calm routines, quiet traditions, and the slow heartbeat of the Nile. Take a deep breath and imagine the soft hush of dawn returning to the land. The sky begins with a faint shade of pale blue, barely touching the horizon. A cool breeze moves lazily between the palm trees, lifting specks of dust that shimmer in the early light. Every morning in ancient Egypt began like this, slow, calm, and beautifully predictable. Inside a modest mud brick home, a family starts their day again. The first movements are small, like the shifting of blankets or the soft creak of wooden floors. A woman stirs from her mat, stretching gently, her arms brushing the cool air of the morning. She lights a small lamp, the flame flickering quietly as if waking too. In the corner, grain sits in woven baskets. She kneels beside it and begins grinding it slowly, each motion steady, each breath quiet. Her hands move in a rhythm older than memory, a comforting circular pattern that echoes through centuries of Egyptian life. A child rubs his eyes, blinking at the warm glow from the doorway. He hears the familiar sound of grinding stones, and it brings a certain peace, a promise that the day will be simple, known, gentle. Outside, the village is beginning its own slow awakening. A man ties a rope around a small donkey, patting its side softly before leading it toward the fields. A potter steps out into the cool air and splashes water onto his wheel, his hands already imagining the shape they will coax from the clay. Little by little, the quiet village rises to life. The sun lifts, and with it, the familiar golden glow spreads across rooftops and walls. Egypt's light is different, warm but soft, bright but soothing. It bathes the world in a feeling of calmness, as though the land itself is offering reassurance. We walk slowly through the village pathways, The dust beneath your feet is cool for now, fine and powdery, moving gently with each step. Birds perch on rooftops, their calls light and rhythmic, as if they too understand the steady pulse of life here. You follow a group of workers headed toward the river. Their tools hang across their shoulders. Not heavy, just familiar companions for the day ahead. Their voices are low, speaking in soft tones, their steps aligned as if they were part of a single smooth procession. When you reach the Nile, the world feels even calmer. Mist rises gently from the water, as if the river is exhaling after a long night. A fisherman stands knee-deep near the bank, letting the cool water wash over his legs. He casts his net with a slow, practiced motion, the net opening in the air, with the grace of a bird stretching its wings. Nearby, a group of women dip jars into the river. They move without hurry. They talk quietly, their voices blending into the soft murmur of flowing water. Their arms glisten with tiny droplets as they lift the full jars onto their hips and return toward the village with patient steps. As the sun climbs higher, the heat settles gently over the fields. Farmers bend over green shoots of barley, their shadows stretching behind them. Each movement is deliberate, not rushed, not forced, just part of the day's natural rhythm. Even the animals move slowly, their bodies swaying in calm harmony with the people. By midday, houses offer shade. That feels like a cool embrace. Inside, meals are prepared with quiet care. Pots bubble softly over small fires, the scents of onions, garlic, and herbs filling the room. Children sit cross-legged near the doorway, their eyes sleepy from the warm air, while their parents serve simple bowls of food, with gentle smiles and easy conversation. After lunch, the village slows even more. Some people rest inside, while others sit outside in the faint breeze, talking softly or weaving baskets with nimble, patient fingers. A scribe sitting beneath a fig tree unrolls a piece of papyrus and dips his pen into ink. He writes slowly, the strokes of the pen almost silent, but carrying the weight of memory through time. As afternoon fades toward evening, the world softens once again. Shadows stretch longer, the air cools, and the village breathes out a quiet sigh. Families gather outdoors, sharing stories, watching children play gentle games with small stones and clay toys. In the background, the Nile glows with the reflection of the setting sun, a long golden path that seems to invite peaceful thoughts. Night approaches. The sky darkens from rose to deep blue, and one by one lamps flicker to life inside the homes. The soft light spills onto the dusty paths, creating warm pockets of glow that look like little islands of peace. People talk in low voices, laugh softly, and gradually prepare for rest. Inside their home, a family begins to settle. The mother hums a quiet tune as she lays out mats for the night. The father closes the doorway curtain, letting the gentle night breeze pass through. Children curl up close, their faces relaxing, their breath slowing. The world outside is silent now. The stars shine with a steady, gentle brightness, not harsh, not sharp, but soft like scattered grains of glowing sand. The moon reflects on the river, breaking into subtle ripples that dance slowly across the surface. If you listen carefully, you can hear the faint chorus of insects, the distant call of a night bird, and the quiet whisper of the wind brushing through palm leaves. These sounds blend into a peaceful lullaby, one sung by nature, one older than history itself. As you picture this calm ancient night, let your breath follow the same rhythm, slow, even, Easy. Let the peaceful world of ancient Egypt wrap itself around your thoughts, like a soft linen blanket. Let the quiet river, the gentle homes, the calm families, all guide your mind toward deep rest. And as the lamps fade inside each home, as the village drifts into sleep, you too can let go. Slowly, softly, gently. The night grows a little deeper now, and with it, the world around ancient Egypt becomes even softer, even quieter. The lamps inside the village homes burn low, their flames swaying gently as if breathing with the people inside. Outside, the air is cool and smooth, carrying the quiet scent of earth and river water. And as we drift deeper into this sleepy world, let us step into another part of Egyptian life. Not rushed, not loud, but gentle, steady, and comforting in its simplicity. Imagine walking through the narrow village street once more. The sky above you is deep blue, almost velvet-like, with stars scattered across it like grains of bright sand. A soft breeze brushes past your face, carrying little murmurs from faraway animals settling down for the night. Every sound feels distant, as though wrapped in cotton. And then from one of the nearby homes, you hear the faint clinking of pottery. A woman is putting away the last of her dishes, her movement slow and unhurried. She checks the small jar of oil for the lamp, making sure it will last until morning should anyone wake early. She glances toward her sleeping children, their breaths soft and steady, and she smiles with a quiet warmth that only comes from knowing her family is safe. You step a little further, toward the edge of the village, where a medium-sized workshop stands. Its door is open just slightly, letting a narrow stream of warm light spill onto the ground. Inside, a craftsman is finishing a final task for the night. He works with linen, stretching the fabric slowly across a wooden frame. His fingers move with care, pressing each thread into place. It is not just work to him. It is meditation, a calming ritual before sleep. He pauses for a moment, leans back, breathes in deeply, and closes his eyes briefly, as though thanking the quiet night for its company. Then he folds the fabric the doorway curtain and sets it aside for tomorrow. Near the workshop, a potter's wheel sits still, its surface smooth and cool. Wet clay from earlier work clings to its edges, like soft fingerprints frozen in time. You can almost imagine how his hands moved around it earlier, steady, confident, turning raw earth into something useful. This is how ancient Egypt lived, with intention, with rhythm, with a harmony that made even work feel calm. Life was not fast. It flowed like the Nile, slow and wide. As you walk further, you find a small open area where families sometimes gather during the day. Now it is empty, except for a few woven mats left out to dry in the night air. The moonlight lies gently across them, painting soft silver lines between the fibers. A cat walks silently across the space, its tail curved like a graceful brushstroke, its paws making almost no sound at all. It pauses beside you, looks up with calm yellow eyes, and then continues its quiet journey into the shadows. In the distance, you can hear the Nile again, a low, steady whisper. The river never sleeps. Its waters glide through the darkness, like a patient storyteller, carrying whispers from village to village, from farm to farm, from one generation to the next. Draw closer to the riverbank. The air becomes cooler, touched by the faint scent of wet reeds. Trees stand tall along the shore, their leaves trembling gently in the moonlight. A fisherman's small boat is tied to a wooden post, rocking ever so slightly with each movement of the water. The fishing net inside is neatly folded, still damp from the day's work. Its fibers soft and pliable. You take a slow breath, letting the peaceful smell of the river fill your lungs. It carries a hint of silt, a bit of grass, a touch of ancient earth, the same scent families breathed thousands of years ago, when they ended their long days in this very calm. Not far from the river stands a small shrine. Its simple stone walls catch the moonlight, casting long, slender shadows across the ground. Inside, a low-burning candle flickers. Someone must have prayed here earlier, thanking the gods for food, for health, for the steady rhythm of everyday life. There is no rush here, no noise, no weight of busy thoughts, just the smooth, familiar comfort of people living a life of balance. As the night deepens, families settle deeper into their sleep. The father's breathing is slow and even. The mother shifts once, adjusting the linen blanket over her child. The child sighs softly, turning toward her warmth. The whole home feels like a single heartbeat, steady and gentle. Outside, the world holds still. The stars watch over the village like silent guardians. The soft hum of the night continues, wrapping every home, every field, every moment in a blanket of calm. And as you stand there, feeling the cool river breeze against your skin, you become part of this quiet history, drifting, calm, safe, held by the peaceful rhythm of a world long gone, yet still alive in memory. Imagine the night settling once again over the soft sands of ancient Egypt. The stars rest above the Nile like tiny lamps placed carefully in the sky. The warm breeze moves slowly, almost lazily, as if it is whispering gentle stories from thousands of years ago. In this soft, peaceful hour, let us quietly step into another part of Egyptian life, a world filled with hands that shaped beauty, with simple tools, with soft rhythms, and with routines that made life feel calm and steady. As you walk into this memory of a world long gone, picture yourself entering a small workshop made of mud brick. The floor is cool, the air smells like fresh earth after rain, and a single lantern glows softly in the corner. A potter is sitting near a turning wheel made of wood and stone. His posture is relaxed, his breath slow, and his hands glide over soft clay with such patience that it seems time itself is slowing down to match his movements. The wheel turns gently, round and round, and with each turn, a new shape rises like a quiet breath. A bowl, a jar, a cup. Nothing rushed, nothing forced. You can almost hear the soft sound of his fingers smoothing the edges, a gentle shh, like the sound of calm waves touching a shore. In this moment, everything feels simple. Everything feels slow. Everything feels peaceful. As the night grows quieter, let us take one soft breath and move towards another craft. Picture a small weaving room inside a house, where a woman sits before a loom made of wood. The lantern light flickers across the thread stretched tight in front of her. Her fingers move in a calm pattern, forward and back, pull and release, as linen slowly takes shape. Cloth for dresses, cloth for robes, cloth for wrapping children at night. Each thread placed with care, with memory, with a gentle hope for tomorrow. The loom makes a soft tapping sound, not loud or sharp, just a rhythmic heartbeat that feels warm and comforting. It is the kind of sound that could guide anyone into deep, peaceful sleep. She breathes slowly. You breathe with her, and time drifts softly with every strand she weaves. Let us continue slowly toward the woodworkers. Imagine another quiet workshop where small curls of wood lie scattered across the floor like dried petals. A craftsman sits with a smooth piece of acacia wood on his lap. His knife is small, his hands steady, and his movements careful. He does not carve quickly. He does not try to finish anything in a hurry. Instead, he waits for the wood to tell him what shape is hidden inside. Maybe a bowl, maybe a small figure of a bird, maybe a simple comb that someone will use before going to sleep. Each stroke of his blade creates a soft whispering sound, gentle and dry, blending into the stillness around him. Sometimes he pauses, not out of fear, not out of tiredness, but because quiet pauses are part of the art. The silence around him feels soft, like a warm blanket, and for a moment, we allow ourselves to rest in that silence too. Now imagine another corner of the village where bead makers are at work. Their hands are small and delicate as they shape tiny beads from glass, stone, and clay. Colors appear one by one: deep blue, warm red, soft yellow. They thread the beads slowly, patiently, forming necklaces and bracelets not filled with luxury, but filled with quiet beauty. Imagine a gentle mother tying one of these simple bracelets around her child's wrist before bed, a charm for comfort, a symbol of love, a small wish for a peaceful night. We rest with that image for a moment. A soft wrist, a warm hand, a little bead glinting in the lantern light. Everything calm, everything still. Now let us step gently into another workshop, one where the air feels thick with warm scents. This is the place where oils and perfumes are made. Clay pots sit above small flames and petals of flowers float inside warm oil. A thin steam rises, curling softly into the air, carrying the scent of calming herbs and sun-kissed plants. These oils are used for skin, for hair, for small rituals before sleep. Imagine lying on a soft mat as someone dips their fingers into a warm bowl of oil and gently touches your forehead, your hands, your shoulders. The warmth spreads slowly. The scent softens your breath. Everything becomes quieter. Everything becomes slower. Everything becomes peaceful. This, too, was part of daily life in Egypt. Not luxury, not vanity, just the simple human desire for comfort and tenderness. Egyptian crafts were never rushed. People believed that beauty came from patience, from calm attention, from hands moving gently with the rhythm of the world around them. Even today, the pottery, the cloth, the beads, the carvings, the oils they left behind carry the same quiet message. Slow down. Be present. Let life unfold softly. As we let this message settle within us, we feel the world around us becoming quieter, warmer, and softer. And as we breathe into the stillness, we prepare to step slowly into the next chapter of Egyptian life. But only when you are ready, and only as gently as the night allows. As the gentle night settles deeper across ancient Egypt, the soft glow of the moon spreads over the rooftops like a calm blanket. The Nile flows quietly, carrying silver reflections across its surface. Birds have tucked themselves into the reeds. Lamps inside homes flicker like soft, sleepy eyes. This is the hour when work slows, voices fade, and the world begins to rest. And in this quiet time, we move closer to the heart of Egyptian life, the homes where families found comfort, warmth, and a slow, steady rhythm that kept their lives peaceful. Imagine yourself stepping inside a simple Egyptian house made of mud brick. The walls feel cool to the touch. The floor is smooth and swept clean. The main room is small but welcoming, lit by a small clay lamp with a warm flame dancing gently inside it. You can almost hear the soft crackle of oil warming the wick. The air is still yet comforting, filled with the faint smell of baked bread and sun-dried reeds. Everything here seems calm. Everything feels safe. This is the space where families ended their days with stories, soft laughter, and slow breaths. And in one corner, a woman sits grinding grain on a stone, but she is not rushing. Her movements are slow, steady, almost like a lullaby. Forward, back, forward, back. The sound is soft, rhythmic, like the heartbeat of the home. Her child rests beside her, head on her lap, listening not to words, but to the gentle sound of her hands moving across the stone. Nearby, a man repairs a small clay pot, smoothing the edges with his fingers, letting the night guide him into calmness. The room is filled with quiet tasks, the kind that make the mind peaceful, the kind that create a sense of warmth before sleep. Now imagine a family gathering for their evening meal. Nothing grand, nothing heavy, just simple bread, some vegetables, maybe a small bowl of lentils. They sit close to one another, sharing not only food, but the comfort of togetherness. The flame of the lamp flickers softly across their faces. Their voices are low and soothing, speaking calmly about the day. A mother gently brushes dust out of her child's hair. A father softly laughs at a small story. The little ones lean against their parents, drifting closer and closer to sleep as the warmth of family wraps around them like a soft blanket. As the night deepens, the home becomes even quieter. The mats are laid out on the floor. Soft woven blankets are unrolled. A light breeze enters through the small window near the roof. It carries the faint scent of the river and the distant sound of water touching the shore. A child curls up beside her mother. A baby sleeps in a small basket lined with linen. The father extinguishes the lamp, leaving only the moonlight to paint a silver glow across the room. The silence is deep, but not empty. It is full of safety, full of warmth, full of rest. Let us walk slowly to the rooftop now. Many Egyptians slept on their rooftops during warm nights where the air was cooler and the sky felt close. Imagine climbing the small wooden ladder and stepping out into the open roof. A woven mat waits there, thick enough to soften the stones beneath it. You lie down on it slowly, feeling the coolness of the night touch your skin. The stars above seem brighter from here. The moon seems gentle, as if it is watching over every home in the village. Somewhere far away, a dog barks once, then falls silent again. You take a slow breath, and then another, and the whole night feels like it's breathing with you. Many families would talk softly on their rooftops before sleep. A mother might tell an old story about the gods. A father might point to a star and explain that sailors followed it on long journeys. Children would listen with half-closed eyes, letting the night lull them into dreams. Sometimes the soft sound of a reed flute would float through the air from another home. The melody was simple, calm, like a gentle river flowing through the darkness. It was music made not for dancing or celebration, but for peace, for rest, for sleep. As the hours drift onward, the rooftop becomes still. The family lies under the sky, wrapped in linen blankets, feeling the breath of the night move slowly around them. This was their comfort. This was their safety. The world was simple, but full of meaning. And in this quiet, you can almost feel the peace of ancient Egypt settling around you too. The rhythm of the river, the softness of the air, the warmth of home, the gentle presence of those you love. This was the heart of their lives. This was where their stories began and ended each day. As you rest with this image, let the calmness of their night settle into your own breath. Let it soften your thoughts, loosen your shoulders, and bring a quiet stillness into your mind. And when you're ready, we will walk together into the next part of their gentle world. Slowly, softly, with the night holding us in its quiet arms. As the quiet night continues to drift gently across ancient Egypt, the world grows softer still. The moon has climbed higher now, casting a pale glow across the riverbanks, the fields, and the rooftops where families rest. The air becomes cooler, almost silky, moving in slow, peaceful waves. In this softness, let us wander a little deeper into the heart of Egyptian life, where stories, beliefs, and gentle rituals shaped the way people understood their world and their place within it. Imagine yourself walking slowly along a narrow path by the Nile, the earth cool beneath your feet. Papyrus plants sway gently on either side, their long, thin leaves whispering lightly in the wind. The water beside you moves with a calm, steady rhythm, not rushing, not pulling, just gliding like a long, deep breath stretching across the night. Far away, you might see the silhouette of a temple, its columns rising like silent guardians watching over the land. The torchlight at its entrance flickers softly, as if welcoming the quiet traveler inside. Egyptians believed the world was held together by balance, a calm harmony they called ma'at. It was a simple, peaceful idea that life should flow smoothly, gently, in order, just like the Nile. This belief settled into everything they did, the way they spoke, the way they worked, the way they treated one another, the way they prayed at night before sleeping. Every action, every choice, every small kindness, all of it was a way of keeping the world steady and calm. And when the world felt steady, their hearts felt steady too. Now imagine entering a small village shrine. The room is dim, lit only by a few quiet oil lamps placed along the wall. Their flames move slowly, casting soft shadows that seem to breathe in the silence. At the center is a small statue, maybe of Isis, the gentle mother goddess, or Hathor, the bringer of joy, or perhaps Amun, hidden and powerful. But the statue is not frightening. It is peaceful, serene, carved with a face that seems to understand human worries, human hopes, human dreams. Someone has placed small offerings before it, a piece of bread, a cup of milk, a simple flower. These offerings are not for grand favor. They are gestures of gratitude, gestures of connection. Quiet, humble, sincere. A villager steps forward, moving with slow, respectful steps. He closes his eyes, bows his head slightly, and whispers a soft prayer, not for wealth, not for greatness, but for safety, for harmony, for the well-being of his family. His voice is calm, barely touching the air. The flame flickers once, as if acknowledging his words. Soon, another person steps forward, a mother carrying a small child. She touches the child's hair and whispers a blessing for peaceful dreams. The child yawns and leans against her shoulder, already drifting toward sleep. The mother smiles softly, her face warm with quiet love. When they leave, the shrine becomes still again, holding their prayers like small glowing embers in the dark. Egyptians believed that the gods were not distant or harsh. They believed the gods walked beside them, in the wind, in the water, in the warmth of the sun, in the gentle breath of night. This trust brought comfort, especially at the end of long days. It helped them sleep with lighter hearts. Let us walk again outside where the night has grown deeper, cooler, softer. The fields stretch out before you, dark and quiet. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the gentle rustle of palm leaves. It almost sounds like a lullaby carried by the wind. Farmers who worked all day now rest in their homes, dreaming of tomorrow's sunrise, when the river will glitter again with golden light. Along the village path, you see a small group sitting together, an elder and a few children gathered around him. The elder's voice is low and smooth, flowing like the Nile itself. He tells them stories of the old times, stories of how the world was shaped, stories of God's guiding kings, stories of brave hearts, kind hearts, wise hearts, but always told in a calm, steady rhythm. Not to excite the children, not to fill them with fear, but to guide them gently toward sleep. The children sit with heavy eyelids leaning against one another, drifting softly into dreams as the elder's voice becomes a warm, soothing melody. As the last word leaves his lips, the night seems to sigh in contentment. A peaceful silence settles over everything. The elder smiles, stands slowly, and walks home, his footsteps soft on the earth. Behind him, the children are already asleep under the stars, wrapped in simple blankets, their faces calm and untroubled. The night moves on, steady, unbroken, like a quiet ancient river of time. And with every passing moment, you can feel yourself sinking deeper into this world. A world shaped by simplicity, tenderness, and the comforting belief that everything is held in a gentle balance. Let this quietness settle around you now. Let the calm wisdom of their stories rest in your thoughts. Let the breath of the ancient night wrap softly around you. As we prepare to walk into the next peaceful part of Egypt's gentle world. As the night deepens over ancient Egypt, the world grows even softer, quieter, and more peaceful. The stars now shimmer like tiny grains of glowing sand scattered across the sky. The moon hangs low, painting long silver lines across the Nile, making the water look like a calm mirror stretching endlessly through the land. In this gentle stillness, let us wander toward another part of Egyptian life, the quiet heart of their homes, their evening meals, their simple comforts, and the tender moments families shared before drifting into sleep. Imagine yourself stepping slowly into a small mud brick house. The doorway is low and rounded, the walls smooth and cool beneath your fingers. Inside, the air smells faintly of warm bread, herbs, and the earthy scent of clay. A single oil lamp flickers softly, casting a warm golden glow across the room. Shadows dance slowly on the walls, moving with the flame's gentle breathing. The house is modest, but everything inside feels cared for. Woven mats, neatly rolled, pottery stacked with quiet pride, and simple wooden stools arranged around a low table. A family gathers for their evening meal. Their voices are soft, calm, almost hushed as night settles in. The mother places freshly baked flatbread on the table, each piece still warm from the clay oven outside. The bread is simple, made from barley or emmer wheat, but it carries the comforting smell of home. Next to it sits a small bowl of lentils, cooked slowly until they became soft and creamy. There is also a little dish of dates, their sweetness glistening in the lamplight, and perhaps a cup of cool water drawn carefully from the well. The father breaks the bread with deliberate gentleness, sharing it with each family member. Their movements are slow, respectful, peaceful. They do not rush. Egyptians believed food should be eaten in harmony, with gratitude, because the land itself was sacred. As they eat, they talk quietly about the day, about the fields, about small tasks completed, about the children's mischief, about the neighbors' news. Nothing hurried, nothing loud, just the soft rhythm of ordinary life. The children listen with sleepy eyes, their heads growing heavier with each passing moment. The smallest one leans against the mother's arm, blinking slowly, already drifting between wakefulness and dreams. When the meal ends, the family steps outside to wash their hands with cool water. The night air brushes against their skin like a gentle whisper. Somewhere nearby, a donkey shifts lazily in its pen, and a few birds rustle softly in the reeds by the river. Everything feels peaceful, unbroken, serene. Inside again, the family prepares their sleeping spaces. They spread simple mats on the floor, weaving thin blankets over them. The mother smooths each mat carefully, making sure there are no bumps, no folds, nothing uncomfortable. The oldest child helps the youngest settle into their blanket, tucking it gently around their body. It is a small gesture, but it glows with love. Before sleeping, the father lifts a small amulet from a shelf, a tiny carved figure, maybe of Bes, the protective household god known for warding off harm and bringing peaceful dreams. Bes is not a grand deity. He is small, cheerful, friendly, a guardian of the home. The father touches the amulet to the children's foreheads one by one, whispering a soft blessing for a restful night. The children smile sleepily and curl deeper into their blankets. Now imagine lying down on one of the mats. The ground beneath is firm but comforting, the blanket warm around you. The oil lamp is turned low, its flame now no more than a dim spark, resting quietly in the corner. The room falls into near silence, broken only by the soft breathing of the family. Even the night outside seems to match this rhythm, moving slowly, gently, as if trying not to disturb anyone. The mother hums a small tune, an old familiar melody passed from generation to generation. Her voice is barely above a whisper, but it fills the room with warmth. It feels ancient, steady, and timeless, like the river itself. Her humming blends with the faint rustle of palm fronds outside, becoming a single soothing lullaby. As sleep begins to settle over the family, their bodies relax, their breaths deepen, and the quietness becomes almost tangible. The father lies down last, making sure everything is safe, everything is calm. He glances once at the doorway, once at the sleeping children, and then closes his eyes with a soft sigh. The house becomes still, wrapped in the silence of the night. The Nile flows gently nearby, carrying secrets older than memory. The stars watch from far above, listening to the peaceful dreams that begin to rise within the home. And in this quiet world, You too can feel yourself sinking deeper into calmness, as if the ancient night has reached out to hold you in its gentle hands. Let your breath follow the slow rhythm of the river. Let your mind settle like sand returning to the riverbed. Let the softness of ancient Egypt wrap around you, keeping you warm, safe, and rested. As we prepare to drift toward the next part of this peaceful journey, as the ancient Egyptian night drifts further into silence, everything settles into a deeper stillness. The world feels almost weightless now, as if the air itself has slowed down to let every living thing rest a little longer. The moon hangs quietly above the Nile, its reflection trembling gently on the surface of the water like a soft silver ribbon. The breeze becomes even lighter, brushing against the land in long, soothing waves. It is in this peaceful darkness that we move toward another gentle part of life in old Egypt, the quiet rhythm of their crafts, their artistry, and the hands that shaped their everyday world. Imagine yourself walking slowly into a small workshop tucked behind a row of mud brick homes. The doorway is open, and a faint golden glow spills softly onto the ground outside. Inside, the room is warm from the small hearth used throughout the day. Jars of pigment sit neatly on the shelves, each one made from crushed stones and earth. Soft blues from azurite, deep reds from ochre, gentle greens from malachite. Their colors look muted now in the dim lamplight, but you can still sense how bright they must become in the sun. A painter works quietly at his table even at this late hour, not because he must done, but because the night gives him peace. His brush moves slowly, steady and delicate, across a thin sheet of papyrus. He paints scenes of the Nile, of birds in flight, of families harvesting grain, of gods watching from above. Each stroke is gentle, thoughtful, almost meditative. Egyptians believed their art was not only decoration, it was a way of honoring life, of preserving harmony, of creating balance for the world to see. Even the simplest lines carried meaning, and the painter's calm focus shows just how deeply he respected this quiet craft. Nearby, a potter shapes wet clay with careful hands. The clay spins slowly on a simple wheel, turning with a quiet, rhythmic sound. His fingers glide around the forming pot, smoothing its sides, guiding its curve, coaxing it into a perfect roundness. There is nothing rushed in his movements. Every motion is deliberate, peaceful, and patient. The clay seems to respond to his calm touch, rising gently beneath his palms. When he lifts his hands, the pot continues turning for a moment, glowing softly in the lamplight before he finally stops the wheel with a gentle touch. The potter leans back, sighs softly, and runs a hand over the drying pottery lined neatly on the shelves. Cups, bowls, small jugs, storage jars, each one unique, each one simple, each one shaped with quiet love. These humble pieces would one day hold meals, carry water, store grains, or become offerings placed respectfully in a shrine. And even though they seem ordinary, they are created with the same tenderness that filled Egyptian homes. As you move deeper into the workshop district, the night reveals more artisans, each working in their own peaceful way. A weaver sits with her loom, the soft brushing sound of fibers blending into the night. Her hands guide the threads carefully, weaving linen cloth that feels cool, clean, and gentle against the skin. Linen was precious in Egypt, light enough to breathe in the heat, pure enough to honor the gods, simple enough to make every garment feel fresh and soft. She moves her shuttle back and forth with a slow, even rhythm, the cloth growing longer and smoother with every pass. Next to her, a carpenter trims a piece of wood with quiet strokes. The shavings curl away like thin ribbons falling to the floor. His tools are simple, but his skill is deep, learned over years of patient practice. He shapes a small stool, sanding its edges, smoothing every corner. Egyptians valued comfort in their homes. Even a small wooden stool was crafted with care, meant to last for years, meant to bring calmness to the family that would use it. Further down, a metal worker tends a small fire, its glow brightening the darkness around him. The metal warms slowly, turning a soft red under the flame. He hammers it with gentle taps, never harsh, never hurried. The sound is steady and calming, like a slow heartbeat echoing into the night. The metal forms into a simple tool, maybe a small blade, maybe a hook, maybe a piece for a farming plow. Nothing grand, but everything meaningful. And as you walk past these quiet workers, you realize that ancient Egypt did not feel like a distant world, ruled only by kings and monuments. It felt like a place shaped by everyday hands, hands that created, hands that cared, hands that believed that beauty was not in perfection but in patience, in the slow, careful touch that guided their crafts. The night holds its breath as the artisans finish their final tasks. One by one, they put down their tools. They clean their tables, cover their materials, and extinguish their lamps until only faint glimmers remain in the darkness. Their breaths deepen, their shoulders relax, and soon, each one steps outside into the cool air, walking home slowly under the shimmering stars. As they move through the quiet streets, their footsteps echo softly against the earth. They know that tomorrow will be another day of shaping, creating, mending, and crafting. But for now, the night belongs to rest, to stillness, to dreams. The workshops fall silent, their tools sleeping until dawn. Let yourself drift with that same peaceful rhythm. Imagine your own hands releasing the day, your breath softening, your thoughts settling like clay resting on a cool shelf. Feel the quiet patience of ancient Egypt surrounding you, holding you safely through the darkness, guiding you gently toward deeper calm. And as the night stretches into eternity, we move slowly to the next soft chapter of this dreamlike world. As the deep Egyptian night continues to stretch softly over the land, the silence becomes even richer, even more tender. The stars shimmer quietly above the desert, like tiny lanterns held by the sky to comfort anyone still awake. The air is cool now, brushing over the sand with long, gentle breaths. Somewhere in the distance, a night bird calls once, then the world settles again into a peaceful stillness. And slowly, we begin to drift toward another delicate part of ancient life, a place where the heart of the home truly lived. Imagine yourself stepping quietly into an Egyptian household, just as the last lamps are fading. The home is small, warm, and filled with the soft scent of reed mats and freshly baked bread. Even in darkness, the space feels safe, calm, like a quiet embrace meant to hold everyone inside it. The families of ancient Egypt lived with simplicity, and it is this simplicity that made their nights so peaceful. A mother sits near the center of the room, her shadow stretching gently against the wall. She rocks a small cradle made from woven reeds, soothing her child with a slow, steady motion. The baby's eyes flutter, heavy with sleep, and the mother hums a soft tune that melts seamlessly into the night air. Her voice is low and warm, almost like a whisper carried by the breeze. Egyptians believed that love and protection were gifts given through everyday actions. A lullaby, a meal, a warm touch, small moments that made life beautiful. Across the room, an elder reclines on a simple wooden bed, resting his hands on his chest, breathing slowly. His face is calm, peaceful, softened by the quiet glow of the last lamp. He has lived many years, seen many seasons of the Nile rise and fall, and now he enjoys the simple comfort of night. Egyptians respected their elders deeply. They saw in them the wisdom of the past, the quiet strength that guided families. Even in silence, their presence was a blessing. Near the doorway, two siblings lie side by side on a soft mat, whispering about the day, the games they played, the stories they heard, the things they wished to dream about. Their whispers fade slowly as sleep pulls them closer, and soon their breaths fall into the same gentle rhythm as the night itself. The father sits outside for a moment, looking up at the stars. The sky is vast, clear, and endless, a perfect darkness scattered with shimmering light. Egyptians often watched the stars to keep time, to understand seasons, or simply to feel connected with the gods above. He traces the familiar patterns with his eyes, then lets out a long, peaceful breath. The night reminds him that tomorrow will come with new work, new tasks, new challenges. But all of that can wait. For now, the world is still and he allows himself to rest. He steps back inside, closes the wooden door gently, and joins his family. The home is quiet now. Only soft breathing, soft moonlight, soft warmth filling the room. Families slept close to one another, sharing the night in a way that made them feel protected, loved, and united. Even the walls seemed to hold their memories, their laughter, their whispered stories. The small home becomes a sanctuary, floating in the silence of the desert, like a warm island of life. The moonlight touches the pots, the baskets, the tools, the simple treasures of daily living, each one made with care, used with love. Nothing in their world was wasted. Nothing was taken for granted. Even rest was seen as a gift from the gods. Outside, the desert winds blow softly, winds blow softly, smoothing the sand into gentle waves that glow under the moon. A stray cat curls itself near the entrance, finding comfort near the warmth of the family. The night is calm, the land is peaceful, and the household breathes in perfect harmony with the world around it. As you watch this quiet scene, your own senses begin to soften. Your shoulders loosen. Your breath deepens. Your mind begins to drift gently, like a feather carried on a calm breeze. The ancient night wraps around you like a soft linen cloth, comforting and warm. The simplicity of this home, this family, this peaceful life, it slowly pulls you into a deeper feeling of rest. Let yourself sink into that same calmness. Feel the quietness of ancient Egypt settling around you, holding you gently, guiding you toward deeper stillness. Nothing is rushed here. Nothing is loud. Everything moves in slow, soothing waves, perfect for drifting into sleep. And as the household drifts further into silence, we quietly move toward the next soft chapter of this dreamlike journey. As the gentle darkness of Egypt settles even deeper across the land, the night becomes softer than before, almost like a warm blanket stretched peacefully from the desert to the river. The stars glow quietly, not bright but steady, like tiny guards watching over every home. Far in the distance, the Nile continues its slow breathing, a soft, endless rhythm that has comforted people for thousands of years. Its waters reflect the moon in trembling silver shapes, moving just enough to remind you that life here always flows slowly, gently, without hurry. Tonight the world feels safe, calm, as if every sound has fallen asleep. And in this soft quiet we begin to drift toward another tender part of ancient Egyptian life, the rituals of evening, the little habits and small traditions that shaped their nights with meaning and comfort. Imagine yourself stepping outside into a narrow pathway between mud brick homes. The ground is cool beneath your feet, and the breeze carries the faint scent of date palms, clay, and warm earth. The walls around you glow softly under the moonlight, their surface smooth from years of wind and sand brushing against them. In this peaceful hour, most people are settling into rest, but a few gentle rituals still move quietly through the night. A woman stands near a small clay altar outside her home. Her movements are slow, graceful, almost like a lullaby. She lights a small oil lamp, shielding its flame with her hand as it flickers. Egyptians believed that light carried protection, warmth, and blessings, a gentle invitation to peace through the night. The flame glows softly, casting golden shadows over her face, and she whispers a short prayer of gratitude for her family, her home, and the rising sun that will come in its own time. Her voice is calm and low, blending perfectly with the quiet night air. A young boy carefully places a small bowl of water near the altar. The water is simple but symbolic, a gesture of purity, a wish for clarity and gentle dreams. His hands are steady, his face focused but peaceful. The Egyptians taught their children the meaning of small rituals, teaching them that care, respect, and gratitude were woven into even the smallest acts. The boy steps back, watching the lamp glow softly in the darkness, and a sense of comfort settles over him. A little further away, an elder sits outside his doorway, slowly rubbing scented oil across his arms. The aroma of lotus and frankincense rises into the air, sweet and calming. For Egyptians, fragrance was not only a luxury, it was a way to soothe the body and the spirit, a way to prepare for rest. The elder's movements are slow, thoughtful, enjoying the quiet moment. His eyes close briefly as if remembering years of peaceful nights just like this one. Nearby, a group of women sit together, gently weaving mats from palm fibers. Their hands move in a soft rhythm, slow and steady. They are not working for speed. They are simply spending time, sharing warmth, whispering softly about their day. Their voices rise and fall like calm waves, blending into the night as naturally as the wind. Even their laughter is quiet, soft enough not to disturb the sleeping homes around them. It is a reminder that community existed even in the quietest hours. Across the village, a few men gather near the entrance, checking the tools they will need in the morning. They speak in hushed tones, discussing the water level of the Nile, the strength of the crops, and the tasks waiting at sunrise. Their conversation is gentle, unhurried, carrying a sense of simple responsibility. And when they finish, they too light a small lamp before returning home, a silent wish for safety through the night. As you watch these small rituals unfold, you feel your own breath slowing, deepening, matching the quiet rhythm of the night. There is something comforting about these simple actions: the lighting of a lamp, the offering of water, the whisper of prayers, the soft weaving of mats, the shared presence of people living life gently. In this peaceful moment, the village feels like a single heart, beating slowly, calmly, in harmony with the land. No rushing, no noise, only stillness, warmth, and the soft comfort of routine. The moon continues its slow journey across the sky, painting the world in pale silver. And as it moves, the village grows quieter. The lamps flicker, then settle into a steady glow. Doors close softly, footsteps fade, and the soft silence becomes even deeper. You find yourself sinking into that silence, feeling the same peace the ancient Egyptians felt at the end of each long day. A peace that does not demand attention, a peace that gently wraps itself around you like a warm cloth, encouraging you to rest, to breathe, to let go. Tonight the rituals have been completed. The lamps are lit, the prayers are whispered, the community is settled, and the night holds everything gently in its hands, including you. As the last sounds drift away into the vast quiet, we softly move toward the next part of this calm, dreamlike journey into ancient Egyptian life. As the night grows even deeper over ancient Egypt, the air softens into a gentle, cool blanket that settles around every rooftop, every courtyard, every quiet corner of the sleeping village. The world seems to breathe slowly, steadily, in long, calm waves. Even the desert wind, which can be sharp during the day, has now become a soft whisper, brushing lightly against the walls of mud brick homes as if singing a quiet lullaby meant only for the night. In this peaceful hour, the village lies still, but inside these simple homes, another tender world opens. The quiet heart of Egyptian nightlife, their bedrooms, their sleeping spaces, their night comfort, and the simple ways they rested after a long day of work near the Nile. Imagine gently stepping into one of these homes. The doorway is low, the interior warm, and the walls smooth and cool to the touch. A single oil lamp glows in the corner, casting golden shadows that sway slowly across the floor. Its soft light reveals woven mats, clay jars, wooden stools, and small baskets placed neatly against the walls. Everything here is simple, but everything has a purpose. In one corner lies a raised wooden bed, not too high, not too wide, covered with a woven mat made of palm fibers. A thin linen sheet rests on top, smooth and cool. Linen was treasured by the Egyptians. It felt light on warm nights and comforting when the air grew cold. The sheet carries the faint, calming scent of lotus oil, gently rubbed into it earlier in the day, so the night would feel peaceful. A woman sits on the edge of the bed, brushing her hair slowly with a comb made of polished wood. Her movements are soft, unhurried. She takes her time, feeling the gentle rhythm of the brush against her scalp, letting the day fade from her mind. Egyptians believed grooming was not just physical care, it was emotional care too. A way to cleanse the heart and settle the spirit before sleep. Nearby, her husband smooths the bedding with his hands, straightening every fold. He works quietly, perhaps humming a small tune passed down from his parents. These songs were simple, just a few soft notes, but they carried memories, comfort, and a deep sense of home. In Egypt, even music was gentle at night, never loud, never sharp, always soft enough to blend with the silence. On a small table made of wicker, a clay jar of cool water sits beside a bowl of dates. Egyptians believed a little sweetness helped calm the body before rest. The dates were not for hunger, they were for comfort. A small treat that made the night feel kinder. A young child curls up on a mat beside the bed. As his mother tucks a light cloth over him, he gazes toward the dim light of the oil lamp. She touches his forehead softly, whispering a simple bedtime blessing. May your dreams be gentle. May the night watch over you. May the sun greet you kindly when it rises. Her words are slow and warm, floating through the room like a soft breeze. The child closes his eyes, soothed by her voice, and soon his breath falls into a deep, steady rhythm, the same rhythm shared by thousands of children sleeping across ancient Egypt. In another corner, an elder lies down on a low mat. The mat is firm but comfortable, cool from the earthen floor beneath it. He runs his hand across it, feeling the familiar texture of woven reeds. For him, this mat is more than a place to sleep. It is something he has used for years, shaped by his body, softened by time. As he settles into it, he sighs a long, peaceful breath, allowing his old bones to rest. Outside, a dog curls at the entrance of the home, its eyes half closed, its ears twitching slightly at distant sounds. Egyptians loved their animals and saw them as quiet guardians of the night. This dog does not bark. It simply stays close, keeping watch as the family drifts into sleep. The lamp flickers gently, sending the final waves of warm light across the room. Soon even it will be extinguished, leaving only the moonlight filtering softly through the doorway. But for now, its flame glows like a tiny star inside the home, calming the hearts of everyone preparing to rest. You can almost feel the softness of the linen, the coolness of the clay walls, the gentle warmth of the lamp, the peace that fills this room like a slow, comforting breath. As you watch each person settle into their place, the quiet becomes even deeper. There is no rush here, no noise, no tension, only steady breathing, soft shadows, and the tender silence of nighttime in ancient Egypt. And as the night wraps itself gently around this family, you feel yourself drifting with them, sinking into the same deep calm, the same slow quiet, the same peaceful comfort that carried the people of the Nile into their dreams thousands of years ago. The world outside sleeps. The home sleeps, and slowly, softly, your mind drifts with them into the next still part of the night. The night in ancient Egypt has now settled into its quietest hour, that gentle time when dreams drift softly through every home, and even the wind moves more slowly, as if it does not want to disturb anyone's rest. The moon hangs high above the Nile, its silver light spreading across the still water in long, calm ripples that look almost like silk. The whole world seems to exhale in a long, peaceful sigh. Inside the small village home, the family sleeps in serene silence, but there is one small place still holding a gentle glow: the rooftop. Many Egyptians loved sleeping on their rooftops, especially during warmer nights. The open sky felt like a blanket, and the stars above felt like quiet guardians watching over them until dawn. Imagine stepping softly up the narrow staircase that leads to the roof. Each step is cool, smooth from years of use. At the top, the space opens into a wide, peaceful terrace surrounded by low walls. A woven mat lies in the center, placed there earlier in the evening to cool under the night air. A few clay pots filled with herbs sit quietly in the corners, their faint scent drifting through the breeze. Mint, basil, and the gentle fragrance of sweet marjoram. A woman lies on the mat, wrapped in a light linen sheet. Her long hair spread softly around her head, dark against the pale moonlight. Her face is relaxed, her breath slow, her body completely still, except for the rise and fall of her chest. She is not fully asleep yet. Her eyes remain half closed, but she is resting in that peaceful space between waking and dreaming, where the world feels soft and the mind feels free. Next to her, her husband sits upright for a moment, looking out over the quiet village. He watches the rooftops of other homes where other families lie sleeping under the same sky. Some have placed small oil lamps near their mats, their flames glowing like tiny stars scattered along the rooftops. Others sleep in darkness, trusting the moonlight to guide the night. He lets out a slow breath as he gazes toward the Nile in the distance. Even from here, the faint sound of water reaches the rooftop, a quiet, calming rhythm that has lulled Egyptians to sleep for thousands of years. The river was their lifeline, their comfort, their constant companion. Its sound was like a lullaby carried on the wind. He lies down beside his wife, pulling the linen sheet lightly over his legs. The fabric is cool from the night air, soft against his skin. The breeze brushes across his face, and he closes his eyes, letting it wash away the last traces of the day's work. His hands relax at his sides, fingers loosening, shoulders sinking gently into the mat, breath deepening into steady waves. A young girl sleeps nearby, curled up under a woven blanket. All day she was full of energy, running through the streets, chasing her friends, laughing with a joy that echoed across the village. But now she is perfectly still, her small hands folded under her cheek. Her eyelashes rest softly against her skin, and her dreams carry her gently through stories of myths and gods, tales told to her by her grandmother as evening fell. Her grandmother sleeps a little further away, her mat placed near the wall so she can lean on it if she wakes. The elder's sleep is light, but the night comforts her. The coolness soothes her bones. The open sky reminds her of her childhood, and the soft whisper of the wind carries memories she has held for decades, memories of harvest seasons, festivals, boat rides on the Nile, and long nights spent telling stories around small lamps. A clay jar of cool water sits near them, its surface dewy from the night air. Egyptians liked keeping water close by, especially on rooftops. Sometimes someone would wake briefly, take a gentle sip, and lie back down, letting the calm return easily. You can almost feel the stillness around them, the softness of the linen, the cool mat beneath their backs, the tender rhythm of their breathing, the steady presence of the moon above. In this quiet moment, all differences disappear. Farmer, craftsman, wife, child, elder, all are simply human beings resting under the same sky, wrapped in the same silence, sharing the same ancient night. Their worries melt into the darkness. Their bodies loosen into the mat. Their hearts drift slowly into peaceful dreams. Nothing in this hour is hurried. Nothing is sharp. Nothing is loud. Only the soft, warm breath of the night, the peaceful glow of moonlight, and the ancient rhythm of Egypt gently guiding every soul toward sleep. And as you watch this family resting beneath the stars, the calm reaches you too, pulling you deeper into the same stillness, the same comfort, the same peace that has soothed countless people across centuries along the quiet banks of the Nile. Egypt's quiet dawn rituals, soft sleep story. The night in ancient Egypt drifts onward to slow, gentle, unbroken, and now, just before dawn, the world enters its calmest moment of all. It is that fragile hour when darkness has not yet left, but light has quietly begun its journey toward the horizon. The rooftop is still and cool. The linen sheets barely move. The breeze softens into a whisper, as if even the wind knows it must not disturb anyone's sleep. The family lies together in a peaceful silence that feels almost sacred. But slowly, very slowly, something begins to change. A small patch of sky above the Nile starts to pale. The deep midnight blue becomes a softer shade, like the inside of a seashell touched by the first sigh of sunlight. The stars fade gently one by one, as though they are bowing out for the new day. Down below, the village is also beginning to stir, not with noise, not with movement, but with a deep and quiet readiness. Roosters do not crow loudly yet. Children are still asleep. Doors remain closed, but the earth itself seems to breathe differently, welcoming the coming light. On the rooftop, the grandmother blinks softly awake. Her eyes open slowly with the gentleness of someone who has learned to greet each morning without hurry. She lifts her head just a little, feeling the cool breeze brush her cheeks. She listens to the quiet, the stillness, the soft, distant hum of the Nile. For a moment, she simply rests, present, calm, untroubled. She sits up very slowly, her joints moving carefully after the long night of sleep. Her linen shawl slips from her shoulders, and she pulls it back around herself, feeling the coolness of early dawn settle over her. She looks at her family, her daughter, her son-in-law, her granddaughter, all sleeping peacefully in the soft blue light. Their bodies are relaxed, their breaths steady. She smiles gently, a smile born from love, from gratitude, from the simple peace of watching the ones you care for, held safely by the quiet of a new day. She turns her gaze toward the sky. The colors deepen, blue shifting to pale gold, gold blushing into quiet rose. The sun itself is still below the horizon, but its warmth is beginning to touch the world. She stands up slowly, placing her bare feet on the cool rooftop floor. The surface feels smooth and comforting, holding the memory of countless nights and mornings before this one. She walks to the small clay pot in the corner, dips her fingers into the cool water, and touches it to her forehead. This simple act is not a ritual written in books. It is a personal prayer, a quiet greeting to the day, a moment of gratitude that she has carried since she was young. As she breathes in deeply, the fresh morning air fills her lungs, cool and clean and full of possibility. Below in the village, a faint sound begins, a faraway splash from a fisherman's oar, dipping gently into the Nile. Not loud, not urgent, just a soft rhythmic sound that blends perfectly with the waking world. The grandmother closes her eyes for a moment, letting the peace settle around her. She thinks of the day ahead, not with worry, but with acceptance, with calm expectation. She knows there will be tasks, food to cook, clothes to repair, errands to run, but none of it troubles her. In this still moment before full dawn, everything feels simple, manageable, held gently in the hands of time. Behind her, the granddaughter shifts in her sleep, rolling onto her back, Her little arm stretches out, and a soft sigh escapes her lips. Her dreams are still wrapped around her, warm and peaceful. Her mother sleeps deeply, her hair spread across the mat like a dark river. Her father rests with his arm over his eyes, shielding them from the early light that grows brighter each minute. The grandmother watches them for a long moment, her heart full with a quiet love that words could never fully hold. Then she moves toward the stairs and descends slowly, her steps gentle, not wanting to wake anyone before their time. Inside the home, the air is still cool and fresh. A clay lamp sits unlit near the doorway. A small woven basket holds bread left from the night before. Everything waits calmly, like the quiet breath before a song begins. But the grandmother does not light the lamp. She does not start the fire. She simply sits on a low stool, hands resting in her lap, and allows the world to wake at its own pace. In ancient Egypt, mornings were precious. They were not rushed. They were not loud. They were moments of connection with the land, with the river, with the sun, with the gods, and with one another. And as the light slowly touches the rooftops, as the first birds begin to sing softly, as the Nile shines like fresh gold under the rising sun, you can feel that ancient peace surrounding you too, wrapping around you gently, holding you close in its timeless calm, and guiding your breath into a slow, sweet rhythm that lingers long after the dream has passed.